In today's video, I'm going to go over a tank type of loadout in Blocktails, and this is, in my opinion, one of the best type of tank builds in Blocktails currently. Before we get into the video, I do have a Discord where we talk about games like Blocktails and where I sometimes show what videos I'm currently working on. So if you want to join it, the link to it will be in the description. So here are my overall stats, and first, I upgraded my HP to 20 because as a tank, you are mostly going to be tanking hits, and you're going to want to be tanky, especially with bosses like the Komodo Dragon and Bigfoot. I have 10 SP because as a tank, you're mostly just going to be defending, and you don't really need that much SP, as you will see when I show my build. And finally, for my BP, I picked 27. I mostly did this because I stacked a certain card to the max, which costs 10 BP alone, just for that card to be stacked, and some other cards are pretty pricey to run. So here are all of my equipped cards, and now I will be going over to why I pick each individual card. So first, let me explain that stacking 5 Thorn cards is essential to make the tank build not useless, and by stacking 5 Thorn cards, it makes it so when an enemy attacks you with a close combat attack, they take 5 damage in return, and this is really good for small enemies and pit floors, especially against pit 29 when you're facing the 4 Komodo Dragons. Alright, so I know a lot of you might be instantly wondering why I stacked 2 fireballs, and let me explain why. I stacked 2 of them because occasionally you're going to come across some enemies that have range attacks, which cannot trigger thorns, so you are going to need something to kill them. And stacking 2 fireballs is perfect for both ranged enemies and bosses, just for an extra bit of damage on the side. Again, this is optional, and if you don't like this, you can swap it out for something like Comatose or Snowball or whatever. This is just a personal preference of mine that you can switch out easily. Now for this tank build, you're obviously going to need defense, and this is why I have both Defender, which gives me +1 defense and -1 attack, and Defend Plus, which gives me +1 defense. Combining both of these cards together in the same loadout gives you an additional +2 defense, which can make you immune to taking damage entirely from stuff like Vine Swing from Bigfoot and most attacks from common enemies, which is insanely good, especially if you're in a solo match. And I'll show you a quick example for you guys. And if you want to take it a step further with the defense, use Defense Charge. I have this in my loadout, and it's really good when going against bosses, as it gives you even more defense and once again makes you even more tankier than before, which is insane against bosses like the Komodo Dragon or Bigfoot. Personally me, I only use 1 copy of this, but you can stack 2 to 5 defense charges. Just keep in mind it becomes pricey to use, as each charge defense stack costs an additional 2 SP to use in battle, and with this build you have 10 SP, which is why I don't use more than 1 defense charge. And I don't really find it to be worth it in my opinion, but that's just me. You can stack these if you want. Now to explain the Happy SP and Happy HP cards, those are simply just a support. Since I am a tank, I do need healing time to time. Since I have +2 defense and defense charge, I don't take that much damage. So I mainly just use Ice Dagger and Happy HP for my heals, which works really well. And since I use SP kind of constantly with the charge defense and fireball, I use Happy SP and Ice Dagger once again to fuel me SP. If you want more heals, you can use Cure, but for this specific build, I don't think Cure is that much needed in my opinion, and it's just better to use Ice Dagger. And Safeguard is just nice to have and good to use when you're taking hits, as it just makes you take less damage when timing guards, which is cool. Now before I show you guys the build showcase, I'm going to be answering a few questions you guys might have. And number 1, yes, I do know I can replace Fireball with other things like another defense charge or another Happy SP or Cure. But like I said, I mostly use it to kill enemies who have range attacks and to shred bosses. Number 2, if you're not really good at dodging or you're just not confident about staying alive, you can replace Happy HP or Fireball with Cure if that makes you feel like you have a better chance at surviving. Number 3, I know I can stack defense charges for a bigger and longer defense buff, but simply I don't want to because with this build, you will only have 10 SP, and stacking each charge defense makes it cost an additional 2 SP per stack, which is pricey and not needed with this specific tank build. Number 4, I know you can use minimize to reduce the enemy's damage even more, and you can definitely use that. It's just I'm not using it for this specific build because I like stacking 2 fireballs, as it's really useful for me. But you don't have to, and you can replace one of the fireballs with minimize easily. Other than that, that's basically it for explaining the build. So before I showcase the build, please like and subscribe, as to make these video loadouts, I have to make an entirely new save file and restart the game, which does take some time to do, as well as editing and getting the footage and voicing over the footage. So, alright, enough of me yapping. Enjoy the showcase.